Good morning everyone and welcome to Liverbird TV. So, videos I've not been doing many lately. That's based on the fact that work was all over the place, but now with my new content I'll always have Sundays off. So you're going to be seeing the content for Liverbird TV now from, Saturday nights to Sundays every week. Now, I just thought I'd do a video on Jurgen, and there's a couple of pieces I want to read out to you that I think you'll enjoy. Regarding my support for him, and also a little bit of insight into what happened at Dortmund when he went through a similar spell in his 7th season. Now, morning Anthony. Now you all know, this morning I've just woke up to a couple of clans on Liverbird TV saying, yeah, let's sack Klopp then, Neil, that's what you're saying. Now, let's just get something straight here. I have never once said I want Jurgen Klopp sacking. I'm sharing pieces of the post he commented on saying, well, let's get a new manager then, Neil, if you want Jurgen to go, was me. The headline was, what's going wrong at Liverpool? That was something I shared off Talk Sports. It never said Klopp out, it just said what's going wrong at Liverpool, and it was a piece that Jurgen gave himself onto what he thinks is going wrong. Anyway, we're reading this piece out by Borussia Dortmund. Now, Borussia Dortmund in his 7th season, I think there was similar positions. I think Dortmund were 9th in the league. I think they'd gone out of the cups, and there was this similar stories going around that he'd lost, the players that had been burnt out, blah, blah, blah. So he was hearing all this going about in his final season at Dortmund. And I just want to read this piece out to you because I think you'll enjoy the regret that has since came from Borussia Dortmund with regards to the decision that they eventually made, which was to get rid of Jurgen Klopp. So just listen to this, I'll read it out now. So the headline is, we should have got rid of the whole team and not Klopp. Danke Klopp. Danke Jurgen is an amazing, thank you Jurgen in German, which is an amazing piece that they held up a banner saying Danke Jurgen and a picture of him applauding their spying cop that they've got themselves, or their massive end behind the goal. So here it is. Borussia Dortmund's CEO Hans-Joachim Watzke was not only Jurgen Klopp's former boss, but his very good friend. The pair did great things in Germany, snaring brilliant footballers for virtually nothing. Does that sound familiar? And beating a brilliant Bayern Munich to the Bundesliga title on 2 occasions. Watzke has released an autobiography, and multiple snippets are being picked up by outlets. And this is one. Here shows just how highly Liverpool's manager was regarded in his homeland by his employers. This is in block capital letters, more or less, or highlighted to sort of bring out the point of what I'm trying to make here. We did not try to change his mind anymore, but that was maybe a mistake. Perhaps it would have been better if we had exchanged the entire team and not the coach. This is a bit like when children move out. You also know it will happen at some point, but you still miss them. When Klopp left, it hurt for weeks. Sometimes when I'm on the training camps, I go to my room late and sit on my terrace and think of the times when I used to hear Klopp laugh and everything was fine. Hearing this, it makes us think that some of the few Liverpool fans who still moan their way through the 90 minutes at Anfield or criticise the manager for not signing players in the summer need to take a step back and realise how lucky we are to have Jurgen. Where Klopp has taken us in 4 years at the helm is more than we could have ever imagined. We went from doubters to believers, and in the 19th, and he won us our 19th domestic league title. The season after, we won our 6th European Cup. All we need this season from the fan base is a universal, noisy, emphatic and relentless support, and very little else. I don't think I can actually read out a better script than what I've just read out than that, to tell you where I stand with regards to Jurgen, and obviously where I think 90% of the fan base stand. I have seen a lot of people posting Jurgen out. That's your choice, even though you're a circus act, in my opinion. All I said was, and I am a football fan, I study the game. I watch football. I'm going to be watching a lot of games live on telly today, in Germany, in Italy, and that's just me. The book lies with the manager, but Jurgen Klopp says the book lies with him too. I'm going to go back to it, and this is a second piece I'm going to read, which is basically going to coincide with the first piece I've read, which is obviously about Jurgen and we need to keep him and change the team. Well, FSG are going to be selling I think, a massive part of the club. I think I'm told it's going to be February, March. Well, end of February, March, April at the latest. This all coincides with our budget, which is going to be big for the summer. So I'm just going to read out this, which we posted this morning, and I'm going to get that up and just let you know what the plans are with regards to FSG and the sale, the partial sale. Now, it could even go as high as FSG leaving themselves with only 20% and just having a stake in the club. It doesn't have to be. People presume a partial sale will probably be FSG having 80% and a new investor having 20%. It could actually be the other way around, where FSG become a minority stakeholder but keep a stake in the club, which is great, because they're very good businessmen, and they're great at modules like building new training grounds, and great people to have on board in regards if we want to extend the Kenny Dalglish stand. So they're good people to keep on board. I think surely you'll agree on that. So I shared this morning. I'm just getting on it now, and this is going to be the piece about when it decides to work, about FSG. Yeah, laptop's playing up at the moment, which is a goody bugger. So yeah, so basically what I'm saying is Jurgen Klopp has got to be at the forefront with the new minority stake, or the new ownership that comes in. Jurgen Klopp has to be at the front of all that goes on in the future with Liverpool. And like I say, this is what I want to reassure fans by doing this video this morning, that Klopp has got to be kept, and then the ownership will have to then just give him the tools needed. Now, I have never been a fan that doesn't want investment. I never have said that. But all I've said is, we've been watching this module for a few years now. We know how it works. We know what Liverpool do. We know they don't panic in the market. So it's important that we get behind. And, you know, we need a couple of games at Anfield now. We really do, where we can sort of get the fans behind us. We've got the Merseyside derby next, which I think is the most perfect game for us to be playing, to sort of get the fans back on side and get us really sort of, buzzing again. That's what we need. So I've just come onto the Live Bird TV page now, and I'll read out this piece I shared this morning with regards to the potential takeover happening in. Here it is. I've got it here. So the new search for investment into Liverpool's Fenway Sports Group will likely hot up in February this month and March, as interested parties potentially make their moves formal. The next month or so could well see some of the interest that has yet to show itself formally crystallise, with US institutional investors and private equity firms and money from the MENA region likely to be assessing their options. FSG would prefer to find a strategic partner, and that could aid their goals to reduce the risk and burden on their shoulders. So what they mean by the burden on the shoulders is they need a little bit more financial help. You've got to remember, these are not Sheikh Mansour. These are not Saudi Arabian billionaires. They're assets that make them worth what they're worth, or more or less assets rather than cash they can just burn. So this would provide them with an exit route in the future through a minority investor escalating their interest into a majority stake over time. A potential route for FSG could be the selling of a piece of the club to a sports investment group that has already established a multi-club model. Multi-club models, while not universally popular, have the potential to be a very useful tool when it comes to recruitment, especially given how it has become more challenging for English clubs to acquire foreign players following Brexit. This is down to the governing body endorsement, GBE, regulations that work on a points-based system that players have to reach before being granted work permits. So what I'm saying to you is I've just read out a piece of Klopp, Borussia Dortmund regretting the sound of Jurgen's laugh and the sound of his voice on the training ground, and that they should have replaced the players and not him. So I've just read you a piece out by Dortmund regretting losing Jurgen, then they see him leave and what he does to Liverpool. The magic's still there. So it starts with this. We as football supporters have to be patient now. We're going to have to take the rough with the smooth. We're going to have to get the deadwood out. Oxlade-Chamberlain, Naby Keita, Nat Phillips, all the players that are on the peripheral of the side. No disrespect, Curtis Jones is not good enough for Liverpool. Get him out. You know, people like Ben Doak, send him on loan into the Premier League next season. Let's see what he's got. Get him a year out on loan. And then we go in the summer and we go all out. We get Jude Bellingham, we get Amrabat from Fiorentina, because I just think them two together. Amrabat, I mean, in the World Cup, he was absolutely unbelievable. Covered every blade of grass. Brilliant at winning the ball back. And I'm not being funny, Fabinho could go as well. If we can get 25 to 30 million for Fabinho, which I think we could. I mean, you've got sides in Saudi Arabia that have just brought Ronaldo and all that. I actually think if somebody comes in now for Mohamed Salah at 100 million, we should take it, and then invest in the midfield, because I actually do like the look of our new front three, which would be Diaz, Nunez and Gakpo. Them three in a rotating position with Jota, Firmino as backup. And so if Salah does go, he does go. We have to now let go of players that are coming to the end and try and get as much money as possible for us to then invest in the new Liverpool. I'm actually excited by this in a weird kind of way, because you've got all the Mancs on our Facebook at the moment. You've got all these teams thinking we're done. We're not. We're just a successful transfer window away from being back. Our front players are frightening. Our midfield is gone. It's finished. So we now have to say thank you, you're legends. We love you, but goodbye to a lot of our players, because we need to rebuild. So as the CAO of Dortmund says, keep Klopp and get rid of the players. It's as simple as that. There's no room for niceties. No, let's give, you know, James Milner type deals now to a lot of our players every year. We've got to now shift them and bring in a Caicedo, a Declan Rice, a Jude Bellingham or a Sofran Amrabat. That's what we can see, and that's what we need. So in my opinion, hopefully we can get that done. Yeah, a great point, Stephen. Just reading your point here. Mornings, Anthony, as well. People need to remember FSG invested in training ground, stadium and and I know what you mean. We need to get behind Jurgen. That's a good point, and this is the point that people forget. Say, for example, they went on what they call the Glazers, which haven't spent any money on anything with regards to the training ground or the stadium at Old Trafford, just falling to bits. Yeah, I can understand the FSG outers and all that, because they've not really made an impact. But these are built as two incredible new stands at Anfield, a state-of-the-art training ground which has got 10 pitches, which has the Anfield surface and the players that are coming through. The young players that we have signed under FSG, we haven't actually seen the benefit yet of. I think we've got lads obviously like Ben Doak at that, they're on peripheral. Now there's a lot more coming through the youth system that we'll probably see the benefit of in a few years' time. So what we've got to do as a fan base is, as what that last piece, I'm just going to say it again for those that missed the start of it. Where Klopp has taken us in 4 years at the helm is more than we could have ever imagined. We went from doubters to believers and won our 19th domestic league title this season after winning our 6th European Cup. All we need this season from the fan base is universal, noisy, emphatic, relentless support, and very little else. You'll never walk alone.